In this video, we're going to discuss the armor behavior. We're also going to look at the way armor is calculated in GameGuru Max. So stick around to the end because you're going to learn a lot about not just the behavior, but also the code behind the scenes making it work. But for demonstration purposes, I've created a little scene here where I'm on a quest and I've got to come and retrieve this wizard spell book from this dungeon. So you can see the wizard spell book is sitting there on the mantle in front of me. I'm just going to walk right up to it and grab it. Oh. Okay, so it looks like there's been a magical ward set up to protect the spell book. And as I stepped too close to the spell book, that activated the ward, and Ring of Fire shows up, and you can see that I got hurt a little bit. I took 25 points of damage. And you can see here that our friend was probably on a similar quest and didn't quite make it. So this can be deadly. I got to be careful here. So I'm going to look around the room and see if there's anything that can help me with this. And lo and behold, I came across a armor potion, and it says press E to consume. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you can see it says armor applied. So now I've taken on some magical armor that's going to protect me from the fire so I can pick up the spell book. So as I walk into the Ring of Fire, the first hit didn't hit me at all, didn't hurt me. The next hit, I took 1 point of damage, and then 2. And the next hit will be 3. There we go. And the next hit will be 4, and so on. So it's slowly degrading the armor over time. So I better pick up that spell book and get out of the Ring of Fire so it stops hurting me. That's the way it works. It absorbs the full amount of armor first. So the armor potion is set for 25 points of damage. It absorbed all 25 points of that initially. And then as there was more damage, so it was damaged me every 3 seconds for another 25 points of damage, but it mitigated 24 points of damage. So I only took 1 point of damage the second tick. And then the third tick, I took 2 points of damage and 3 points of damage, and so on. And what would happen is over time, that armor would slowly degrade until eventually I didn't have it anymore. I'd be taking the full 25 points of damage until I died. That's the way it would work. So first, let's talk about how the armor potion works, and then we'll talk about the code for the calculation of armor behind the scenes. So a lot to cover here. All right, so first we'll talk about the armor behavior. Now there's 2 ways we can use the armor behavior. We can either consume it immediately, as I did. So as I walked up to it, I cursored over it, and I pressed E to consume it immediately. So that's the first prompt text. The second prompt text is if it's a collectible. So the way to make a collectible, in case you're not familiar, is you go in here to the general settings and you tick this box that says is collectible. And when I do that, watch down here, look what happens. If I tick that, then I get another area here. It says collectible settings. And I'd have to go in here and create a collectible. You can see I already did that before, so it showed up in the database. Otherwise, it would have a little button that says add as a collectible, and then you can set up like what is it called and how much is it worth and so on and so forth. So in my case, it didn't need to be a collectible. I could just consume it immediately. So that's what I chose to do. The usage text, either way, as soon as you use it, whether you're using it from your inventory or whether you're using it immediately, the usage text is just what is it going to say when you use this item. Then you have the quantity. This is probably the most important parameter in the entire behavior because this tells you how much armor are you receiving from this item. In my case, I chose the number 25, which is equal to the amount of damage that the Ring of Fire is doing, 25 points of damage per hit. But you can set that to whatever you like. Then you have the pickup range, which is how close to the object do I need to be in order to interact with it. The pickup style, we have accurate and ranged. Accurate means I need to be pointing directly at it, whereas range, I just need to be within the range in order to pick it up. Then we have the effect. Now, I don't quite know why you would want to deduct armor, but maybe you do. You have the option at least. You can either add to the armor rating, or you can deduct from it. And you don't even actually technically have to choose armor. You can see that there's a variable called my armor that comes with Max. It's by default, so you don't even have to set that up. It's just there, and you can choose it. But you can also choose some other behavior or some other variable, any variable that you want. So you could raise your health, you could raise your money, or whatever it is that you want to select here in the options. So this is, it says it's an Armour behavior, but it's pretty universal and you can use it for a lot of different purposes. It's a lot like potion or drink or some of the other ones that are very similar to this. But I chose my Armour because that's the demonstration that I wanted to do. Then we have the prompt display, which is where is the prompt text going to show up? Is it going to be local to the object, meaning right next to it? Or is it going to be the screen, which is going to be at the bottom center of the screen? So I choose screen usually. And then we have the item highlight. Now there's 4 options. You can either choose none, and then you wouldn't have any highlight. You can do a shape, in which case when I cursor over it, it would just show the shape in green. You could do an outline, which is what we had in this demonstration. So a little yellow outline goes around the object shape, or you can do an icon. And if you choose icon, then you get to choose what icon do you want to use. And in this case, they've provided an icon that you can use if you want to. And so if you chose outline, it would just use this icon unless you selected a different one for yourself. Then you have the sound slots. You have 2 sound slots. The first one, sound 0, is what does it sound like if you consume the item? And the next one, sound 1, is what does it sound like when you pick up the item? So that would only really apply if you're collecting it. Okay, so that's the Armour behavior explained, but you still have to understand how the code works. So let me show you that. So the first thing I want to show you is that the code is in gameplayerhealth.lua, which you can find in the script bank folder. Now, to help explain this code, because it can be a little confusing at first, especially if you're not well versed with Lua, what I've done is I've loaded it into an IDE called Cursor. Cursor has AI integrated within it. So what I did was I said, okay, please explain the section dealing with Armour in simple terms. How does it work? And here it's broken down for us exactly how it works. So it says the game checks if you have armor stored in a variable called my armor. When you take damage, the armor value is subtracted from the incoming damage first. If the armor is higher than the damage, then you take no damage. So I would say it's probably more like if it's higher than or equal to, because we took 25 points of damage, we took no damage, right? If the armor is lower, then you only take the remaining amount of damage after the armor is subtracted. And we saw that happen. At first I took 1 point of damage, and then 2, and so forth, right? And then there's armor degradation. It says the armor doesn't last forever. It can be damaged and lose effectiveness. There's a toughness setting called my armor toughness, and you'll see that in your variables. If you look in there, it's already in there called my armor toughness. And the higher that toughness is, the longer it'll last. When the armor takes damage, there's a random chance for it to lose 1 point, which we saw. And we even saw that that one of those ticks didn't actually take any damage. It didn't degrade. So it does randomly kind of either work or not work, depending on that. So if you ever see that and you think, hey, it didn't degrade like it's supposed to, it actually is supposed to have a chance not to. So that's kind of neat. Then the chance is calculated from there. So hopefully that makes sense and helps you understand how Armour works. And I kind of wanted to show you exactly where this code is and how it works, because this is an opportunity for you to get your hands dirty if you really want to, and go in here and kind of explore how this code works and maybe make some changes. Maybe you don't like the math, the random 1 in 10 chance. Maybe you want it like a 1 in 20 chance or something like that. You can make small changes like this. I would encourage you to make a backup of the code, save a copy somewhere, and then make the changes and test it out and try. You can also make some changes to the text. So for instance, maybe you want the Americanized version of the word armor. You take out the U there. It just depends on what you want to do. But you can make changes to this. You can invent your own way of calculating armor if you really wanted to. So sky's the limit. You have the option to do so. It's all right here for you. Otherwise, you can just take how it's working in GameGuru Max by default, and I think it's actually pretty a neat system. But that's it. That's the Armour behavior explained and how Armour works. If you enjoyed the video, if you learned anything new, please be sure to click the like button down below. If you're new here, if you just haven't subscribed yet, would love to have you stick around. And lastly, if you'd like a notification for whenever a new video is posted, just click the bell icon and that'll let you know when a new video is ready. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hey, don't forget, there's written documentation on every behavior, even the ones I haven't covered yet, in video format on my website at www.bloodmooninteractive.com. Be sure to check that out. And if you'd like to learn more, maybe check this video out next.